Hey, Speak Easy podcast listeners. I am so excited to talk to you guys. This Power of Why series has been like no other series that I have done so far, simply because this has been jam packed with information that is going to be something that you can use to be able to elevate in life and business. You guys know that's what the Speak Easy podcast is all about. And I am your host, out to these Felder, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. Now, we have talked about everything and anything in this series, and today we're going to talk about some visuals. The visual effect when you tap into your power of why. It's super important. We'll get into that in a second. I'm excited to have my guest on today. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
So, this has been an absolutely amazing experience. But before we dive into today's topic, tell the studio audience a little bit about yourself and then we'll get right in.
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Funmi. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, in Africa. I'm married. I have two daughters, teenagers, and business-wise or professionally, I'm a certified business coach. I also love funnels and automations, so I do build websites. I help clients to clarify their brands, to design their visuals, and activate their online business so that they can make money while they are actually sleeping. So that's the summary of who I am.
I love that because a lot of times, let's be honest, when it comes to starting the business, we want to make money, but in the
Right.
first few years, we don't. And that's why I felt
Right.
so important to talk about this particular topic because what it looks like from the outside and what it looks like from the inside is definitely different. And so for me, let them know for you what was that process when you first started and what you thought it was going to look like as opposed to what it looks like now.
Right. When I first started, I thought entrepreneurs wake up when they like. you know, they have the luxury of traveling wherever they wanted. They have their offers, and people just, rush it and, just buy it. And they have raving fans all over the place. But yeah, I learned quite, I learned quite early enough that that was just wishful thinking because if you don't put in the work, you cannot get the results. And it's a commitment, it's a journey on its own. So if you do not take those first steps to actually understand, what you want to do, then you'll just have a nice time crying and, having meltdowns and all of that. So that was what I thought. I thought it was all a bed of roses. But when I got in there, I saw it's about relationships, it's fun. You can wake up when you want, but there's time for that. You have to have done the groundwork first, and then the other good parts that you thought it was can now come in.
That is so valuable because so many people look at the laptop lifestyle and the nomad entrepreneur and all of this stuff, and they think, oh my goodness, you're just living a life. And then when they find out what it is you do, they're like, you don't sit home and watch Netflix all day. you know?
No, we don't.
No. Most times I am up before most other people, and there are some people that they're the night owl, so they go to sleep after everybody else is asleep because they're still up working
Right,
projects.
right. That's totally the case out of Vice. I mean, it's um it's almost unimaginable, but when you start actually getting it, then you begin to love it and you even want to spend more time, on it because you can tell that okay, so out of 100, I've gone way past 50, but there's still this other 50 that I have, so it's a grinding process, but eventually there comes the time when you can actually breathe, and you can see that, you can taste it. So that's the fuel that keeps us awake when everyone else is sleeping, because you know, okay, I just have to do this more and I'll be here. So it's a wonderful process. It shapes who you become, how you talk, what you even eat, what you eat, your mindset, everything is affected when you're on this journey. Everything.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy that you said that, because so many people think that, oh, you're home and you're doing home cooked meals, and yeah, no, not quite. No, we had quite a
Oh
few
my.
struggle meals and snacks for a while there, but
Yep.
it's important for us to know that there are people who make it seem like everything is easy. They make you think that everything is as easy as one, two, three, and then when you get in there, it got letters in it. It's a whole math problem. Okay,
Right. Right.
a whole math problem.
Right.
I thank
No
you for
such thing as overnight success.
exactly. I thank you for sharing that part, because again, that was a hard lesson for me coming into it, especially because as an introvert, I did not know what it was going to look like. And when we think of networking events, we think of people, big crowds of people handing out business cards. I didn't see
Right.
what real networking was and building relationships.
Right.
So I was all over
Mhm.
the place, okay?
Mhm.
It was some hard lessons
I
learned.
like to tell people, right, right. I had to tell, sometimes I get to tell people I changed niches like toilet paper, like toilet paper. That's what I say. I say I changed niches like toilet paper because today I'm this, tomorrow I'm this, next tomorrow this is what I'm doing. So if someone came to my page like 3 times the first year I started, they would say, I thought she said she was doing social media. And then next thing I'm doing it was it was a whole mess. It
Oh
was a mess.
And I know, speakeasy listeners, I know we're laughing, but I know many of you can probably relate, because you're like, well, no, because, I was trying to find and I wanted to find my footing. And, we put all types of labels on it as to why we're doing it.
Right.
But the reality is, business starts out really rocky sometimes. We don't always have everything in plan and in place. And I know that, Funmi, you actually have started using Kajabi, and are an expert in that area. I know that there are other people who were like, they attempted to use Kajabi and it didn't work out so well for them. So it's some of it is, that let me try it and see what works. Other things was, let me just find somebody else that can do it. But what made you stick with
Right.
this program?
Hmm. Um, I think I had tried so many platforms. I had tried so many things. Like I said, I changed niches like toilet paper. But I think my personality is one that doesn't want to be so much under pressure, and under stress. So when I found Kajabi, it was something that made me stick. Everything I wanted was in there. I could build my email list. I could offer my services. I had my courses, my memberships, everything was on the platform. So I found it very easy. Like you said, a lot of people thought that, Kajabi is not it. Anyone coming over to Kajabi, but that worked for me to such an extent that I mastered the platform. And so it was easy for me to naturally add that to my skills and my offerings. So now I help other people to set up their products, courses, memberships, and all of that on Kajabi. I became an expert in it by example. because I used it. It worked for me. I found it easy. I loved tech, and I just naturally just went out and, and that was how I started building my business in that area.
Now, you said some powerful things there. So, for one, you said you became an expert by example. So many people coming into the industry think that I'm the expert by how I look when I show up online, or I'm the expert by the words that I'm speaking. But people are watching what you're doing. And that's the valuable piece that really stands out and how you become the expert. People are watching that consistency. They're seeing, oh, okay, oh, they're still using it. Okay. Oh, now they're teaching a class on it. Oh, all right. They pay attention to the journey. And I think that's a part of, when we think about our why and we think about, what the power of it really looks like, it's the why is, that I think I can momentum throughout the journey. So with that being said, knowing what the journey has looked like for you, have you had moments where you look back and go, whew, I'm glad that I kept pushing, because in that moment, I almost gave up?
Right. Yeah, I have also vice. I had one such moment just yesterday. We have a group for users of Kajabi, and someone was asking for referrals or if they knew anyone who could help them set up their business. And one of my current clients just came up and said, oh, this is the person you need. And then another client came and said, oh, I second that. And then the third one came up and said, I would never work with anyone else apart from me. I was shocked. I cried, honestly, because I felt, at last I felt it was worth it, because, there was a time it wasn't very nice. People were not always nice, being in a different geographical location, not having the social security number that they can check out who I am. I had to fight my way through, but as soon as I started to get international clients, and that yesterday, honestly, was like a validation for me, it was worth it, because I felt that, my work was actually valued. Nobody cared about where did you come from, or, it was validation for me. So it was worth it. So when I look back and I think about, those struggles, I don't know. I just feel that it was worth it, because now I have that validation. Now I have what I thought, I really needed, and which I thought was still in the near future, but here it was right in front of me. And all my clients just, kept coming out from the corners, and they were like, this is the person you need. And I've seen a number of people get interested. I had about 4 people that I don't know, join me up on the year even grander than when I started. I think I froze for a minute.
Oh, you're back now.
Okay.
I love that, though, because one of the things, and we're talking about, when it comes to the visual, what it looks like for us as entrepreneurs, as opposed to, what it looks like from the outside, what it looks like from the inside. And one of the things that we always struggle with is getting that validation, is getting reviews, customer reviews, because a lot of times we'll have that from behind the scenes where people will tell us how, they loved our products and services, they loved working with us, but then we don't always see that on the other end. So it really does floor us sometimes when we get a review or we get feedback that's really positive, because a lot of times as an entrepreneur, you don't always get that hand that I'm proud of you, you're doing a great job. that's not something that we always receive.
Right.
Ooh, you froze up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So I know that it's been an amazing journey. And when we get those, we screenshot them, we take it and we hold on to it. And sometimes we'll share it out online.
That's I just screenshot that moment and used, and to also remind those more up and say, who do you think you assess you've had? So those things are back again.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So you should always create that social proof. As an entrepreneur, that's part of the journey, is creating that social proof from moments like that, because it's not things where you're paying somebody to say that you look really well, or to say that you did a great job, but this is genuine responses, and those genuine responses will always influence other people to want to work with you. So I know that is so super important as we, as entrepreneurs, move forward. Speakeasy podcast listeners, it's always great to get reviews, and even with podcasters and book reviews, and oftentimes you have to be a really big name to get reviews. You do. To get consistent reviews and get people, but you'll get people who will give you that feedback on a regular basis, just not doing the reviews on Amazon, or on your podcast, or on your business page. Heck, you can even do reviews on Google when somebody's business is set up as a Google business. There are so many options for you to be able to celebrate the people that do what you love, that are doing it and you appreciate what they're doing. Go out and give them a little high five, a little hand clap, and leave them a review. That's a little, sidebar piece. I love it though, because that was something that at one point was very disheartening. Because you look at your business and you're doing all of this work and you think, is it really worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really worth it? And so with that being said, Funmi, how would you say is one way that we can gauge if the business we're doing, the systems we're putting in place, if they're actually working?
That's a good question. I would say, ask for feedback. Sometimes we imagine that we know what people want, and so we're pushing out content, pushing it, and we're like, they're not responding, they're not liking, they're not commenting. Probably they don't want that. They probably don't want that from you, but there's something they want. So why not just ask for feedback, and say, hey, what would you like to hear me talk about? What do you need help with? And then you see if it's something you can fit into your own idea of a business, and then take it up from there. That's the best way that I know and that I've done, to ask questions. And immediately I started to do that. I started to get better engagement. I started to get the feedback that was genuine, so I could apply it in my business and see, areas I could improve on, things they're not even interested. And I was staying awake for hours, working on this. So yeah, feedback, that's the best way to know if that's what they want.
Oh my goodness, that part. You said something that I want to make sure that the Speakeasy podcast listeners heard, is that you ask You
Right.
ask for it, and you have to consistently ask for it. A lot of times we believe that people are just going to do it because we're a good person, or they do it because we're a great coach, or they loved our products and services. But let's be honest, people get caught up. The world still turns, life still happens. And so you have to be consistent in asking for the review, asking them for their feedback. One way that I love being able to ask people for information is through polls. If you look at
Right.
Facebook, you can do a poll as a post and get some
Yep.
great feedback and great energy to see what people really are looking for. So that was a great example that you shared. Now, one thing that I've been asking everybody that's come on to the Power of Why series is, how has your why impacted your business?
Uh, my why is big, out of ice. My daughters are my why. And, that just keeps me going. Whenever I think about their future, when I think about the kind of life I want them to have, you know, that helps me to just keep focused on whatever it is I'm doing at that particular time, because I know I'm doing it for them. I'm certain that I'm doing it for them. And even though I've had many ups and downs, even offline, I lost a major business that put all our monies in it before coming online. That is what just keeps me going, when I know that these girls are there, and they are waiting for me to like be a role model so that they can follow in my steps. So yeah, they are working as hard as I am. You won't believe it. They love what I do. They love tech. So in fact, they teach me some things, you know. So they are just my why. And of course, I'm working to get my school back, which was the business I lost before coming online. I'm working very hard to make sure that I get it back. And yeah, I understand the fact that the journey is as important as the destination. So I'm not despising, all the days of little beginning. And finally, I can see some light at the end of the tunnel. So this is also to encourage, that person listening to you on this podcast, that look, it's just a matter of time. Everything has its own seasons and time. And you will eventually get to your goal. But just cherish the experiences you're having now, because when the rewards come, you have to look back, and you will even be thankful for those down times, because that's what strengthened you. But now it doesn't look like that, but it will. Trust me, it will.
Definitely cherish the experience. Speakeasy
Yeah.
podcast listeners, I hope you took notes. If not, make sure, again, you can press that pause. You can go back, rewind, write some things down. But the most valuable thing is you taking action. Why? Because this is all about you being able to level up, rise up, move forward, elevate in business and in life. So with that being said, Funmi, let them know how they can reach out to you for more information and how they can find you online.
Oh, my business is Heart Hustle. I have two actually. I have one registered in my home country, and the one registered in the United States. That's Heart and Hustle International Incorporated, I think, or incorporation. But you can find me on www.hearthustle.biz. www.hearthustle.biz. So there's a form to reach me. You can learn about me, about my businesses. Everything is on my website.
I love that. Speakeasy listeners, uh, make sure that you, again, are tapping in, taking action. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation by going to bit.ly/World Voice Community. That is how you join the free Facebook group, so that way we can hear how this episode resonated with you and how you're loving this Power of Why series. And then we would also love for you to go and leave a review over on your favorite podcasting platform. Just look at World Voice League on Facebook, or connect. We are the hashtag Speak Easy podcast. Guys, I am your host, Elsie Pelzer, your voice manager. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.